Hey guys, welcome to part 2. We're going to go ahead and dive right into it. When I left off, I said we were going to add the hover styles and change the colors and the stylings around a bit for these boxes. So let's see what we need to do that. So we already have styled all of our list items how we want. So the next thing I want to do is change the color of that text inside the box. Right now it's really hard to see, and I want to make it a little bit easier to see when we look at it. So I'm going to change a few things. Number one, I want our background to actually be a gray color, and I'm going to add a new selector here for the anchor tag, which is any link that you create on the page, any anchor with the A. This will select that. I want to make the color actually black. I also want to add a feature called text decoration. I'm going to set it to none, which gets rid of the underline. So I've changed the color of each anchor tag to black. I have changed, sorry, I'm setting a timer here so I don't go over. I have changed the text decoration to none to get rid of the underline. And I set our background for each list item to be gray. And here is what that results in. There we go. So we have no more underline. We've changed our font color to black, and we've changed our background to gray. But we still have no hover. So here's where I introduce a nifty trick called pseudo selectors. So what I want to do is create a selector. We'll say inside the main div with the ID main, any list items. And now here's where I'm adding my pseudo selector. My pseudo class is going to be hover. I added a colon and I added the words hover, which means whenever I hover the list item, I want you to do this. That's what you're telling the browser. Except what I want it to do is every time I hover the list item, I want it to change the background to black. Alright. I'm also going to add another one, main li hover. And I'm going to add one more selector to it. I'm going to go a bit more in depth and say anchor. So that means any anchor tag, when a list item is hovered inside the main div, will change the color to orange. So what this should do for us is when I hover over one of the kids' names in our club, it should change the background of that box to black, and it should change the text color to orange. Let's demo that. So after I refresh, I notice nothing changed right away, but when I hover something, look at that, isn't that pretty? Very, very cool. So it definitely makes it much more obvious when you're hovering over something. You will rarely find a site that does not have hovers, and that is because people on the internet are so used to it. When they hover something and it doesn't change, they don't think it's an actual link. So give it a shot. Go on a few web pages and see what happens when you hover over a link. Are there any changes? That's probably done with a pseudo class selector like we just did. On to YouTube videos. So for our YouTube videos, we have to add some more markup. Now you'll notice for our list items that we did a minute ago, we didn't have to touch the markup at all. Our content stayed exactly the same, and that's the beauty of CSS, is that all of our content lays untouched. We just change a few properties over here, and it's reflected in great differences on our page without actually changing our HTML. So I'm going to add some videos to our page. Now, while you weren't looking, I went ahead and got all the information for our videos and commented them out down here so I'd have it just to grab. So I'm going to cut that out and I'm going to paste it up here, and then I can explain it. So what I've done, I've made 3 different divs. Here's one of them. Each div has a class of video, and inside that div is an iframe that is the YouTube videos that I have created thus far, and I will show you how you can get those. So if you go to YouTube, if you have your own YouTube page, and you hit your little tab here, you go to Video Manager, you click on a video, you ignore me talking, and you go down to Share, Embed, and there's the exact code that I copied from here and I pasted into my text editor right here. So it's simple as that. Now if I paste it, or if I save it as is and I go view it, it's going to be a little simplistic. So there we go. I've got 3 videos that are just kind of stacked right on top of each other. It's not very pleasant to look at. So we're going to add a few things to that to make it a little bit easier to view. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to select our video class. I want to do 2 things. One, I want to add margins on every side just to keep it simple. We'll say 25 pixels. That'll space things out a bit. And I want to float these videos to the left. Now that kind of means that whatever you add the float property to, it removes it from what's called the flow of the page, and it's in its own place now. And so if you can kind of imagine, it's hard to describe. You ever played Connect 4? You know, if you take out the bottom checker, the rest of them kind of fall down. That's sort of what a float is like. If you remove a layer, it pushes over the layers that are next to it or behind it. So I'll kind of show you what that means. So I added the margins and I floated left, and since I did, this video is floated to the left and it has margins on all sides. So does the next video and the next video. But here's the magic. If I make the screen smaller, it gets pushed down. If I make it big enough for 2, it keeps 2, but the third one gets pushed down. If I make it big enough for 3, it fits all 3. So that's kind of the beauty of the float, is it makes things a bit more dynamic on your page instead of pushing it all over the place. So that about sums it up, guys. I'm going to add a few more videos on here, including the one you're watching right now, because right now you only see 3, and you'll be able to view those shortly. So we restyled our entire page in a matter of probably about 20 minutes. Not bad for our results that we have here. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sure I will see you soon in the next club meeting, and as always, if you liked the video, give it a like on YouTube and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you later. Peace out.